Web3 with Me is a discussion-style podcast about the ins and outs of Web 3.0, hosted by Zach French, known as Off Edge in the verse. From crypto to NFTs, DAOs to DeFi, we cover the abstract philosophical promises and the new business models enabled in this new decentralized world. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or watch the show on YouTube. Thanks and enjoy.
Zach French is a bar-certified attorney, and nothing expressed by Zach during Web3 with Me shall be considered legal advice. All the opinions expressed by Zach and his guests are solely their own opinions. All content in Web3 with Me is for informational purposes only. Zach and his podcast guests may maintain positions in the securities discussed during Web3 with Me.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for being listeners of Web3 with Me. I want to take a few seconds to tell you about my exciting new B2B offering. It is the mission here to educate. I sincerely believe Web3 can make the world better for more people. Businesses shouldn't be left out though, so I've launched the Web3 Coach. It's a bespoke education experience designed to help your team understand how Web3 affects your particular industry or company and identify opportunities unique to Web3. Whether you have a law or accounting firm with a growing number of clients participating in Web3 through crypto and NFTs, or you're a real estate syndicate looking for different ways to raise money, or teams just of fast-growing Web3 companies who want to understand your customers and your new teammates, I make sure you can talk the talk and leave feeling more confident about this crazy new world. Please take a minute to check out my website at theweb3coach.xyz. Thanks so much and enjoy the show. My guest today is Austin Hambleton, host of Fomoverse Radio. Austin Hambleton is a car salesman in Colorado Springs, Colorado. He enjoys buying JPEGs and laying sax emojis down in the F channel of the Pak Discord. Our conversation is very Pak-heavy, as Pak's Fomoverse is what brought us together, and both of our favorite NFT artists as well. LFG baby, let's start vibing. Welcome to the show, Austin.
GM.
Glad to have you on. We're doing a little reverse interview this time.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah, I've been loving the content on your show lately, so now I'm going to have to extract that same quality of content out of you.
Perfect, man. I'm excited to be here today.
Cool. Well, I always start with the same question. I'd like to know your founding story, so tell us a little bit about you.
Just as far as like what got me into Fomoverse Radio, or just like an about me?
What I'm looking for in the question is I want the audience to get to know you a little better for who you are. So any type of formative experiences that you've had over the years that have kind of made you into the person that hosts Fomoverse Radio and do what you do today.
Okay. So, I guess it all starts when I was a young kid. I grew up in the car business. I've worked for Ford specifically since I was 14 on paper. So I'm a 28 now. So, I've worked there 14 years. I love selling cars. That's what I do right now. I've sold cars for probably about 7 years since I've been in the car business. So really loving that. Got into NFTs, digital art about... I would say when Picasso Bowl came out, I think that was mid 2020. And then ever since I seen Picasso Bowl, it just fascinated me, just taking a look at it. It was just really breathtaking. So really just from there, I've dove deeper into the communities, deeper into the art, and just love it here, learning and here for a good experience, man.
So what is it about selling cars that you love so much? You've been doing it for 14 years, especially at 28. I mean, our generation is supposed to be the, hey, I did this for a little while, I'm done now generation. So what's kept you so loyal to selling cars?
Part of the reason I love selling cars is the people. So we have like a definition of we call it the 5 Ps. Phil Long, where I work at, it's people, passion, product, profit, and there's one more. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting that right now. But it's just some of the qualities that we go over, and we want to make people the number one priority, and that's just something I've really gotten attached to. Just I love interacting with people and getting to know them, and hearing their story and what led them to coming into the dealership today, to us sitting down buying a car right now. I just love the story.
Have you been able to translate any of those skills that you've learned there, selling cars and getting to know people, into what you're doing in Web3?
Absolutely. I think it's given me a huge advantage. I mean, networking with people, that's something I do on the daily. Just really studying what you're doing and just giving it a lot of time and thought, I think definitely gives me an advantage in the Web3 space.
I can see the persistence for sure. I mean, we've gone through, everybody knows we're going through a big bear market right now. And from the very start of the FOMO drop, I mean, it wasn't far after that where you decided to be Fomoverse Radio. I remember the all caps, and then the drama of removing the all caps.
Yep. No caps allowed. I noticed that you could put certain words in caps. I think it was like up to 12 characters or up to 10 characters in caps before something got deleted. Yeah. So there is like certain ways around putting all caps still in the Pak Discord channel, but we're learning something new every day here. So we'll see.
Yeah, but I'm blown away with the fact that you are able to have such consistency in this F channel, because I think everybody keeps trying to find like, what is it that we're supposed to be doing? And Fomoverse Radio has kind of been like the thing that like has stuck around, right? Like we've all talked about doing a drop, and I think that drop is still, maybe something, but like this is like you're the glue.
Oh,
do you even realize that?
That's really nice. Now, I just honestly, like, I'm on Fomoverse, like on my off time, I just want to give the people there some content, just try to like be involved as much as possible. Like, even if it's not like a huge help, like, I don't know how much like background music does, but like, that's what I'm trying to do. Just like provide the channel and provide the chat with something that they can at least look at if they're hopping in the chat, because you don't want to go into like a stale Discord. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You get these Discords and it's just kind of like the same things, like over and over and over, like people, and I say GM a lot, and, it's just a lot of people saying GM and, talking about the same PFP. So it's just nice, like bringing some fresh content, fresh ideas, just some way to like engage with like your main Discord. I think that's helped me out a lot. It's just, posting stuff every day, just trying to be active as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at, I remember when I was like early on and trying to do Web3 full time, on community manager roles kept popping up. And if I was like, okay, well, if I get my experience makes sense in this, like just in the sense that like, we've all been buying NFTs for a little while. We've seen what works, what doesn't, but like I started to research it a little bit. And like one of the things that like you'll see as far as like community management is just like some sort of consistency in like something that brings the community together. So while I think you view it humbly as kind of like background music, like I think it's like one of the consistencies that's kept F kind of going. So
oh, thanks, man.
That's cool. Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about, what you're currently doing outside of Fomoverse Radio. Are you still actively trading NFTs? What else are you doing in the space right now?
Honestly, like how things have been going in the market, I'm trying to just look at it as like a positive side, like an accumulation period. Mm-hmm. Definitely see it like really down right now. And I feel like people's attitude reflects the market. So like everybody's kind of like down attitude, like just naturally, so I just try to stay as positive as possible and just try to like look at the bright side, like all the memories we've made and, all the fun we've had trading JPEGs. It's been a great experience, regardless if it's up or down. So I just try to like, stay positive. But outside of everything, like I've just been still, buying POC Ash Chapter 2. I'm buying Dell's Fine Balance. I mean, some of these like Ash projects, I'll help out and buy some, but I'm really just trying to just stay on a narrow path, and whether it's right or wrong, that's just the way that I want to do it right now. So,
are you rebalancing at all your portfolio?
Honestly, like I'm not really looking to sell anything. I'm just accumulating, holding, and that's it right now.
Yeah. Which Ash 2 pieces have you been accumulating?
So I really like Adam Swab.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how you say his last name, but he has the most burned Ash Chapter 2 piece. I think he's down to total supply of 146 today. I just checked.
Wow.
Unless there's like some new data out there that I need to look at. But yeah, so he's had the most burns. So I've tried to, look more at which ones have the most burns, because I want to just try to get as many high tier burn pieces as possible.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, just
the long term.
Yeah, you're playing the scarcity game, and I assume you probably like the art as well.
I love the art, and I love how you can burn these pieces. Like, it adds another layer to it.
Yeah.
That gets me excited. It's something new. Like, I've never heard of. You have to burn 5 pieces to get, a Form 2, and then the Form 2 could be high tier burnable. Like, all of it just, I really love the vibe, and I think that's why I love Ash Chapter 2 so much. Yeah, like a lot of people say the drop itself was, not as expected. But again, like, you're not going to be happy with every drop. And no matter what, like, things aren't going to go your way 100% of the time. So I just, I've been buying what I like still, and, holding to my tried and true.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, you and I are both, I would say, I don't know what's in your portfolio, but I would say that like we're probably pretty heavy weighted pack.
Yeah.
And
for us, I mean,
there's whales, and then
a lot of
there's us normies out here. But like I still like the underlying kind of like pack ethos, like that hasn't changed. Right. And the fact that Pak was able to get this many grade A artists into a drop that had these kind of mechanics afterwards, because they had to have known the mechanics before they joined it. Right. Like, and then do it like it's a historical drop. Nobody will ever do anything like this again, I don't think.
Well, and it was interesting because I was talking to David Aryev, and he was saying that Pak didn't give them like a certain template. Like, it didn't have to be like a certain frame rate or like a certain style. Like, all the artists just like went with what they thought worked. And I thought that was pretty awesome.
No, that is pretty unique. I didn't know that.
They had free range.
Are you only buying and burning, or are you also like keeping some of the tier ones? Or?
So I'm kind of caught like what I'm actually doing buying Ash Chapter 2. Again, I love the mechanism. I love the art. I love the artists too that are behind it. Mm-hmm. And I love everything it stands for. So like those 4 things have like really got me to just buy them like every periodically, like, oh, like I think this one, looks good. Let's just go ahead and add this to the collection. And not to mention like, so it's a 250 edition piece. And then, if it gets burned, it's supply goes down, and most of them are just badass pieces, Yeah. So.
Do you know a few, like after watching you Zomax on your show, I was like,
oh yeah,
I don't want to go get one like this guy.
I got that in my wall, like downstairs, like on my mural. It's just like a Zomax computer swirling around.
Just like,
yep.
It's kind of got like cube vibes to it. I kind of like the way that it kind of turns, right? Reminds me of the classic fungible collection.
So I thought it was interesting moving over to Zomax. So I asked him about the number 2 piece, the Form 2. It's called Anode.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just DMing, like we weren't saying this on Twitter or anything. Like I go, hey, does your Anode piece that have the butterflies in it, does that have anything to do with Pak's first piece? And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, his first piece that like he ever came out with on Vimeo was called something like Butterfly, like the Butterfly Effect or something like that. And I'm getting it mixed up with the movie, but that was his first piece. It was just like a short clip. And he goes, no, like I had no intention of like using that as an influence, but he's like, that's cool that you noticed that. And I was like, I didn't know if that had some sort of influence, like some deep meaning to it. But
so it was like this nice, happy coincidence.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. It was something like a butterfly. There's a quote that's behind it. It says, am I a butterfly that's dreaming I am a man, or am I man dreaming that I am a butterfly?
Oh, so deep. And this is part of Pak's piece, the quote.
Yes.
Vimeo, back when they had to produce it on Vimeo. And
yeah, let me see if I can pull it up. But yeah, definitely made me think about that piece. Okay, so it says Butterfly Messiah. That's what it's called. That was Pak's first release.
Butterfly Messiah. Interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video of it. It says 2008.
Oh, geez. 15 years ago, 14 years ago. That's crazy. So are you taking, I guess, kind of that framework? I know that you have got that framework around like Ash too, but I guess you could kind of translate that into other ones if you wanted to kind of build like a buying NFT framework, a unique mechanism, nice art, things like that. Have you ever explored other collections that might be doing something somewhat similar?
You know, I like to look at what other people are posting out. Like, I don't want to discredit, really good artists out there, because I know there's a ton of other artists that I love their work, but I'm not really necessarily like buying their work. I feel like it's okay to admire artists and not want to collect from them, so like, I guess if I had more capital, I'd be buying these other artists, but for what I have for now, I'm just sticking on like a narrow path.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I have a lot of my friends are still pretty active right now, and they're like, this is the best time. And I'm like, I get where you're coming from. I totally do. But I also have this kind of like, I'd rather just be like not buying stuff right now. Like, I don't want to put more into the market right now until we start to see some signs that things are turning around, and I have more time to spend like really looking at it. Cause I mean, it's like,
so I think there's some like no-brainer buys out there still. Like, one of my buddies that I know very well just bought a 5 cubes today for 2,500. And so like, I mean, that's just like the primary price that you would buy it from Sotheby's like day one. And so, if you really like have any like ounce of belief in it, like you'd be like, okay, that was before the NFT market really took off. That was before like Ash really did anything. So like, honestly, that's like, to me, like a no-brainer buy. Like, I think there's still stuff like that out there. You just gotta like have the confidence and I guess have the capital to do it too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like I found a way to get the capital when we were going through that bull run, and now I'm just like,
I know.
Find it.
It's so crazy because me and my buddies, we always talk about how are we like easily throwing down like 2,500 or like 1,000 on like some random drop that we just heard about like 30 minutes ago, and now we're just going to go buy like 5 of these JPEGs. It's so true.
It is. I mean, when you compare, like my favorite comparison was like, oh, I got to pay $5 more to add like bacon at a restaurant, right? Like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
But I'm willing to pay like $500 for a picture.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, like
wrong,
in real life stuff, like
but...
you know, you're looking at like the difference of like different shampoos. Like one's like $5.99, the other one's like $6.99, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get the $5.99, and then you're buying like a $1,500 JPEG. You know, the next hour, you're not even thinking twice about it, but you sure won't buy the higher end shampoo.
No, man, you can't get the Garnier Fructis Plus. You can just get the Garnier. So what is your outlook? How do you feel about everything right now? I mean, I know you're kind of picking and choosing some Ash 2 pieces, and you're really not spending a ton. You're not trying to find a way to participate in terms of buying things, but you know, where do you see this going? Do you think this is something that comes back at some point? Is there ever going to be the craze of 2021 again?
You know what? What really got me into crypto was Bitcoin, or what really got me into crypto and NFTs was really Bitcoin. And you know what? Like, I think all of crypto and NFTs, they really kind of have some sort of correlation to Bitcoin. And so when you see like Bitcoin spike up and have a ton of volume, I think you see a lot of that with other like altcoins and other NFTs, and DeFi, and just all these other crazy like assets. I think there's some sort of correlation to Bitcoin. And I truly believe the next halving, which is going to be 2024, when we see the next run up, when the Bitcoin mining reward gets cut in half. So I think we're really going to see like a huge run up in 2024 again. So this would be considered like a good accumulation phase.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting that you kind of accumulate the two. I mean, I guess at the very basic level, it's allowing like depending on what the reward is, like once it's halved, that's like increasing the wealth in a way, maybe, which could be spread out, right? I feel like I've become a bit of a Bitcoin, like not a maxi, because that's Bitcoin maxis are a whole nother breed.
They don't like anything. They hate NFTs.
Yeah, they hate everything but Bitcoin. I do not hate everything but Bitcoin, but I do have a lot of faith in Bitcoin. I don't think it's going away. I am encouraging people, like whereas I used to go out and encourage people, hey, you should check out this NFT if you like art and
Yeah.
Now it's like,
it's always like the safe haven.
You should be a coiner, right? Like now is the time when you can afford to be a coiner. And then I proceed, and this is not financial advice, just like the the disclaimer says at the beginning of the show. But you know, go out there, buy half of one if you can afford it, and then buy a little bit every single week, right? Until you get to one full coin, because it could go down further. But at the same time, I don't think it's going anywhere. And if you're looking at it as like an alternative, right, investment, then you've got like the stock market's doing God knows what right now. Maybe if you invest in like some of these high growth stocks that have gotten canceled more or less, like you might triple your money. But if you are putting your money in Bitcoin, I mean, who knows where it's going? Yes, it could go to zero, but like, I feel like your upside's way higher.
So have you ever heard of Plan B?
What is that?
The Bitcoin Maxi Plan B?
No.
Okay, so he has like this chart that's projected that Bitcoin will reach 1 million by, I think it's like 2028.
Wow.
And it's like a stock to flow chart.
Wow.
And I mean, really, like a lot of it's like hit. I know like a lot of people, and he's been doing this for a long time.
Is it Softy the Moose by chance?
I've never heard of those terms.
You know that, guys? It's not him. Okay, he wrote this book called The Bitcoin Standard, so he's a huge maxi.
Oh, okay. I'm actually reading the Bitcoin Standard right now.
Yeah, he is a good Lex Friedman interview if you want to do
Oh,
like some
okay, yeah.
extra. Because Bitcoin, it was kind of crazy. The Bitcoin Standard was written like 2017, right? 2018.
Yeah, a while back.
Yeah, well, I mean, in crypto world, that's like forever ago, right? So like, some of the insights in there that you'll find as you read it are like pretty on point for what's going on right now.
Yeah, I'm only like 30 pages in, so I know nothing.
I can't even read books. I don't know about you. If you're like your choice is to read, I'm like always listening everywhere I go.
So it's nice. Like me and my girlfriend will just have like our book reading nights where we'll just want silence and we just lay in bed and read books.
Oh, that's nice, dude.
Yeah.
That's a really great practice.
It's not as often as you would like, but it's like, I don't know, we might do it every couple of weeks or something.
Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
You do? And you're able to pick books over TV every once in a while? That's good.
Yeah. Well, because we watch everything already, so we're like, we're burned out. So
it's not like we're like choosing here.
No, we're burned out. Yeah. We have no other options, bro.
So yeah, finally I'll pick up this book.
That's when you're bored.
Well, I want to transition a little bit. We one question that I ask every guest is, how do you define Web3? So Austin, how do you define Web3?
Man, that's a pretty deep question. It's crazy because you would think there's just like a one sentence answer for Web3, but I think we're still kind of like early on this technology. I think Web3 is a technology that you have your own private keys that you can control your assets with, meaning that you don't have to have a company's permission to do anything. Like Google's not going to get notified if you like move anything, or they don't have like any say in what you do. So it's basically just like self-custody of your own assets is like, I try to relate to it as like a like owning your own stocks. So if you go on Robinhood or you go on these stock platforms and you buy a stock on there, you really don't own that stock. It's the company basically has like a we owe that they owe you the stock. So I think Web3 empowers you to have like your own codes to like own your own digital assets. So like you own the stock. I guess that's like a long-winded version, but yeah. And also on top of that, I wanted to add like, I think it also empowers gaming. I think Web3 has a lot like big potential with gaming, like people being able to own their own like gun items, like their like custom skins that they could like trade for like currency. And I feel like people do that now, but I feel like those items that they're selling are like owned by the actual game company. It's not like somebody like having it in like a MetaMask wallet.
Yeah, it's like, here, I'll give you my password and you can go get this thing.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
Did I do okay?
No, you did freaking terrible, man. We're definitely going to cut that. No, so there's one common theme here. Like no matter who gives me the answer, which is like autonomous ownership. Yep. Right? Like the fact that you've got the keys to what you're doing. And you're right. Like if let's say, I mean, look, you can transfer your stock from Robinhood to Morgan Stanley or E-Trade or something like that. But like at the end of the day, if you needed to go trade that stock, if E-Trade went down or Robinhood went down, what do you do? Like there's nothing you can do. Whereas if you have your NFTs and your crypto on a hardware wallet, you can take that anywhere you want and you can transact with it. Right.
100%. Or you
and
can
there
give
are
it
places
to
everywhere in the world that take cryptocurrency and that will take, that it's now like worldwide thing. It's interesting. I think a lot of people, when they do that definition, they use the read, write, read, write, own, which is the easiest way to explain it, I think, in terms of like, because really, like, if you think about why it's called Web3, it's because it's the third iteration of the web, right? But like, what is Web3? What is the definition of Web3? Doesn't have to always be that context. It can be like, okay, I'm here. What am I doing? Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So let's talk a little bit about in-person conferences. Have you been to any in-person conferences?
I've been to like some sales training conferences.
Oh, sorry, Web3 in-person conferences.
Definitely not.
Are you going to be attending any at any point?
I mean, I'm sure I will. I don't have any reservations for any Web3 conferences right now, but I am going to go to the Bitcoin Angel Scotland Castle party.
Oh, that looks
coming
cool.
up. I guess you could call that a conference. So
yeah. Is there going to be like a program around it, or is it just like a party and then you're going to travel Europe with your girlfriend or something?
So it's pretty much that, but there's going to be a before party, and then at the castle, there's a big event going on. They're going to have like some scotch and whiskey vendors out there, and some food catering, and some shows going on, like the knights battling, some swords, and so yeah. So we're just going to go to the castle and hang out and probably shoot some bow and arrows, and like what Scottish people do.
Are you gonna wear a kilt?
Actually, I'm not. I'm just gonna wear like a white dress shirt, black slacks, and a black tie. My girlfriend was like, you should get like a white diamond pennant, and I was like, oh my god, or like a black diamond pennant. And I was like, oh, but it's so soon, and I don't think it's going to happen this time.
Wait, what's the significance of a black diamond pennant? You mean just shaped like a diamond, like Fomoverse?
Like FOMO, yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's badass.
I mean, you kind of do. I mean, at this point, do you own a saxophone? Because, like, I mean, I feel like you should probably own a saxophone.
It's funny. Like, I play the drums. I don't play the saxophone. So, some people have asked me, like, dude, do you even play sax? I'm like, no.
No.
I really love the saxophone. I respect the shit out of it. Like, FKJ and Masago. I don't know if you've ever listened to those, but I'll post some links sometimes to their stuff, and man, they're just jamming out. The old jazz artist, like Miles Davis and the Messengers.
Yeah.
Just like old jazz musicians. I just love it.
Yeah. How did you come up with the logo?
So when Fomoverse first started out, it was on Discord, Fomoverse Radio, my bad. And, I started, actually it all started out with Silver Surfer, believe it or not. And so we were on there, I was asking him what kind of coffee he likes, and he said espresso. And I was like, oh, something along the lines like of jazz playing while Silver Surfer is drinking his coffee. And so I was like posting like a link of jazz music, and I just kept like posting links of jazz music like every day, like just coffee jazz. And then I just was like, hey, I'm Fomoverse Radio show, I'm your show host. And it all started out as a joke. And jazz is associated with the saxophone, and so that's where the two met, I guess.
I feel like it's become like iconic in a way.
It has. So Shorts Howard, actually, I think it actually was Simply Anders. I want to say somebody like put a saxophone on their name.
I think it was Shorts.
And then a couple other people did it. And then so it was like the saxophone emoji is replacing the rocket emoji. And so that's kind of like what started it.
That's interesting. I didn't know
the origins of the sax.
I just thought it was a tribute to you.
The origins of the sax. It's not a tribute.
Not a tribute. Should be. You did get designated a Vanguard, no?
I did. And you know what? I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I know, like, people know me in Fomoverse, but outside of that, like, I don't know. Do other people know me that are in like Lost Poets collectors or some cubes collectors? So like, I didn't realize that that many people voted for me until like the day of the drawing, and yeah, I got picked as a Vanguard.
So can you tell the audience a little bit? They may not be familiar with the Vanguard process.
Yeah, so Pak for Ash Chapter 1 had a release of Carbon. That was a NFT that he released. I believe there was like 670 or no, something like that, like 700 or something. So anyway, so out of 100 of those pieces he allocated to the top 100 community members that the Discord elected. So essentially, like somebody that was in the Discord could go on and say, hey, I vote for Off Edge, and I vote for Friendly Jameson, and I vote for Shorts Howard. And so that would give them like 3 tallies for votes. And so at the end, there was like the list of 100, and I was on that list. And I don't even think I found out first. I think somebody like called me and told me, and I was like, what? And I looked at the list, and I was like, I was in shock. And I remember like finding out like right after that Pak was like, but wait, the list can change. And I was like, what? The list can change? And I remember it was like the next day or like that day I was at the DMV, and I was just staring at my phone as like everybody else was waiting at the DMV. But little did they know I was in the Pak Discord on this 100 list. I wasn't even listening to what the teller was talking to me. She could have charged me like whatever amount, and I would have like wrote her a check. But I was just like so engulfed at like this 100 list. And I remember there was some people that were like able to like vote some of the people off of the 100 list. And I believe there was a couple that got kicked off of the list.
Wow. Who were they? Do you remember any of them?
Ooh. I think it had something to do. I don't think Bobby Slay got kicked off, but I want to shout out him and say he was like talking some beef with somebody like that was and honestly like going back and looking into it, like the guy that was on the 100 list really was saying some negative things in Discord. And so like they were like, hey, this person shouldn't be on here if he's going to be on the like set as an example. He shouldn't be like talking really negative in the Discord.
I mean, just think about the origin of the word Vanguard. Like you are supposed to be like the knight in shining armor of
so like, it ended up happening like I'm pretty sure like he was able to kick somebody off.
Wow.
So like people had like a tally of like, hey, should this guy stay on here or not? And everybody was like, no. And so they like kicked that guy off of there. And then I think there was like maybe 2 other people that got kicked off, and I have no idea why, but
yeah. I mean, like, look, I think there's a difference between being critical and being negative, right? I think you should be able to be critical as long as you're being objective about it and have an open discourse about stuff that you disagree with, which I know has also been a topic of people getting kicked out of the Discord before, aka my previous guest, your previous guest. But
much love.
Yeah, right. Nothing but good critical thinking in my mind. Yep. But there is like a certain like for that particular kind of hand-picked vanguard of Pak and Pak's ecosystem, like there's got to be like some accountability for like spreading like good vibes, right? And like supporting the ethos, right?
Yep.
There's just too much like negativity out there anyways. So I get it.
Yeah. And I want to kind of rewind back as far as like the vanguards and like the top 100 chosen. There was like also allocated another 100, I believe, for the first people that enter in the Discord of Pox. I think they also got a carbon. And I thought they might have been called the Vanguards. I might be getting the two mixed up. But anyways, there was like a list of 100 elected people that got a carbon.
Yeah. And there was one that got voted. I think there were some that were like, yeah, they were elected by Pak and or others, maybe.
There was like influencers, I think, like some artist, I believe, like got the gift. I don't know what the contribution was, but there was some, like, maybe it was like collectors, these previous artist collectors.
Gavin got one.
Yeah, Gavin. I thought Zomax did too.
Probably. I bet a lot of the people that were in Ash too, if not all.
David Ryu, I think, had like a special one. I think Pussy Riot had like a fossil that later they sold, and people were like, "What? Did you hear about that?"
No.
Yeah, so you know how Pussy Riot was part of Ash Chapter 2, right?
Yeah.
They had like a fossil piece, you know, from Ash Chapter 1.
Yeah.
You know the fossil piece?
Yeah.
And they sold it, I think, for like 3 ETH or something a while back. Like
what?
Like a month or two ago, maybe?
What, like strapped for cash or something? Was it?
I couldn't tell. I was like, is this like a...
It's like a diss.
Trying to take like a punch at POC or the community. So it's funny, like right after that happened, I went out and burned my Pussy Riot piece.
Good for you.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm done too. You're selling, I'm burning your piece.
I love the loyalty.
Yeah.
I also love how strict you've been about someone having a Fomoverse in their wallet to be on your show. Like that, to me, like, I think a lot of people just be like, I'm still Fomoverse. But you're like, no. I need one in your wallet.
Yeah, so honestly, like, that's kind of a touchy subject because, like, when I first started Fomoverse Radio as, like, the YouTube show, I just wanted it to be, like, people that had Fomoverse in their wallet. And so I wanted it to be, like, something special for our community. And so I was bringing people on from Fomoverse, and then I don't know if it was me or somebody else was like, hey, you should bring people on from outside the show or outside the Discord and Fomoverse. And I was like, I kind of want the show to be like just special for, the people inside Fomoverse. And then I think like a week or two later, I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I should just bring people on. And I'm like, but how can I bring people on and still keep my word? So that was like something I was like contemplating for a long time. And like one of the thoughts was like I would buy a Fomoverse and then I would just lend it to somebody while, they're on the show, and then they would just give it back. And the other thought was that I would make a separate show, like not Fomoverse Radio, call it something different. Austin Hambleton's, platinum members. I don't know. And bring them on the show, bring other artists on the show. And then there was a third one that I could make a copy of my Fomoverse and then send that to people. And so I was just like, you know what, screw it. So Fomoverse got down to the point where I could actually afford to buy one. I scooped one for like 0.49. And I was like, all right, here we go. I can just start like lending it out to people. And then so I lent it to Dell. I lent it to Zomax. And then I got to my cousin, which I had him on like 2 episodes ago. And I think for the first time I was like, you know what? Like, I think lending Fomoverse out like on its own, like it's okay. It's like shows trustworthy, but like I don't know if it's like needed at this point, I guess. I guess if you just want to be like part of the community, you should just be able to be part of the community. So for now, I think like I'm just going to like leave that off where it's at and then just like pick back up on it, when I have time, like maybe create some like innovative idea. I've talked to like OXG and Second State about creating duplicates of my Fomoverse. Yeah. And so he actually came out with a contract, a smart contract that makes it to where you can duplicate your NFT. And so he tried to like put it on OpenSea, and apparently it like flagged the NFT was like trying to duplicate, and also the NFT did duplicate. And so like I think we have to like go back and like redo something. So I was talking to Second State. I'm like, until we like figure all this out, like I don't know, let's get together. So
Jeez, that is some drama.
So yeah. So anyway, so yeah, the Fomoverse like lending is kind of like, I don't know, it's like on hold, I guess, for now, but whatever.
Hey, man, you know, I don't think it takes away anything from what your show brings to the space. And look, at the end of the day, like, it's about the fact that you have a show called Fomoverse Radio that was born out of a community with no roadmap, with no rules, with no expectations, no utility.
FOMO guaranteed.
FOMO guaranteed, and cool sweatshirts. I should have worn mine today.
I was wondering if you were. I should have messaged you like, dude, we got to have the matching hoodies.
I know, right?
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers. Yeah. It's okay if his is movie quality.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for sharing that. I know that that it can be complicated, man. Like, this whole thing can be complicated. And honestly, the bigger topic that you're not talking about directly is the flagged NFTs. I've had many people come to me, as I am a lawyer, and they're like, Zach, do you see what's going on here? And I'm just like, I sure do. I sure do. Certainly seems like a little bit of BS. But I mean, it's kind of crazy the way they've gone about it. You just wonder how they're making those decisions internally at OpenSea to penalize the people who innocently bought NFTs.
It does make you kind of take a step back, you know. So yesterday there was a transaction. Somebody sniped a Fomoverse for like 0.36. I think I posted it on the chat. And if you looked on there, the address that it came from had a little exclamation on it. And if you like a little red exclamation, so it was like flagged.
Yeah.
So if you try to like click on the address, OpenSea will come up with like a HTML not found. Like, so, you know, and then it makes you wonder with Fomoverse, like, because Pak said, you know, if you like buy it from the black market, like there may be consequences. Yeah. So I was like, man, you know, thinking about the innocent buyer, I'm like, the guy got a snipe, but something sketchy is happening right here.
Yeah, I wonder what it was, and like why. It's weird because once they're flagged by OpenSea, you aren't allowed to trade them on OpenSea.
Huh. Well,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's my understanding of it. I have not dug deep into this matter, but I can't remember who I was talking to about. They like bought an NFT. And it got flagged afterwards, and then they couldn't sell it on OpenSea. Now, look, they can sell it on LooksRare. They can sell it on Rarible.
Sure.
You're not stuck with it forever, but OpenSea's where everybody is. No one's looking for NFTs on Rarible unless they're Rarible or LooksRare, unless they're a little bit more advanced, right?
And that could be a huge problem because let's say you got a Bored Ape. You know, if you were trying to sell that on OpenSea and it's flagged, it sounds like you can't. So, and it's like, what happens if all these like quote unquote decentralized art exchanges or decentralized, like, you know, OpenSea or whatever, like they'll become more centralized and make it to where like certain people can't sell these things. That's going to really hurt, you know?
I mean, that's what one of the first public conversations I ever had with Dell was over some of the I think it was Iranians that they were kicking off the platform that weren't even located in Iran. Like, I get you can hide behind the U.S. sanctions export classifications, but like if they're not even there, right? Like, why are you kicking these people off? And I don't know if it ever got resolved, but there's been a few decisions, and it's very much a centralized. So
did they have like a VPN that was saying they were there?
I don't know. There was a lot of proof I was
or that's where they were from and they were getting kicked
that's
off
where they
and
were from.
Lived somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, that's where they were from, and they live somewhere else. So it's like I don't know the intricacies of U.S. export law when it comes to being on that list, but I do know Iran is banned, and Russia and China and Like there's certain countries you just cannot have addresses from, right? Or else you violate US law. Right. And I was like, listen, like, hey, Dell, like, like, he's like, no, dude, we know that, like, this is well known, but look, they're still,
he's a genius.
He's so smart. He's so smart. He's
like I swear he's like a neuroscientist or something crazy.
He's just, some people, man, they're polymaths, they just understand almost every subject because they think of it. It's kind of like, I don't want to compare Dell to Elon Musk, but a first principles thinker.
I mean,
right?
I mean, he kind of is in our eyes.
Is
that a good or bad thing? Hopefully, Dell isn't listening. No,
I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think he's going to listen. I don't have a ton of listeners.
Hopefully, if he listens to it, what's up, Dell?
What's up, Dell? You are Elon Musk. No. But like some people, like they can take any problem and they can just break it down to its core. And then they just understand it. It could be law. It could be rocket science. It could be electric cars. It could be art. It could be OpenSea, right? Like they get it and they get how like different things work. And I mean, that's my biggest respect for Dell is that he not only understands all of that, but he is able to communicate it clearly to everyone. He doesn't just take advantage of it, because a lot of people I think that think on that level, like they can easily just take advantage of it and like manipulate and do things. And like I feel like Dell is just very well intentioned in the way that he goes about being an art creator, right? Being an artist, because he just, like, I don't know. I just feel like he always got the best interests of his collectors in mind. And then he makes it very clear what his intentions are. There's not a lot of like back and forth. It's very consistent. Mm-hmm. And everybody that's in the Dell Discord is just, I mean, they're OG. We accept Ash people. I love them. Like, I love them. I'm just like working my way through, like, how many of these people can I get on my podcast or have conversations with? And
you know who you should try to get on is that goat with 3 horns. I think it's.
I want to get goat with 3 horns.
Is that what is? He's hilarious.
I know.
He's
him
like,
and Dell hanging out.
Me and Dell are hanging out right now, and he doesn't want to talk to you guys, but it's so funny.
I'm, wow, I'm definitely gonna have Thor on one day, very soon.
Yep,
I've talked to Thor about it already. He's awesome. I met him in NFT NYC very briefly.
Oh, that's so cool. All those guys are so awesome.
Yeah, and DK I met very briefly. Not DK Let's Walk, DK Daniel Koth or Koth. I'm not sure how to say his last name. He is like just like ball of happiness. I just like when I saw him, it was just so much joy. And
oh, that's great.
I think that was the best part about going there, right? Like just like seeing all these people in person is like even like if I met you in person, I feel like, it's like it adds a new element. Like
I know. We would be like bros. Like
exactly. I mean, if you lived in Atlanta, like dude, where are you? Texas?
Colorado Springs,
Colorado. Like, yeah, man. Like if I lived in Colorado, whatever, like I feel like we would be hanging out. Like we would. That's how I feel about a lot of these people. And I think that element, and look, it's this blockchain transcends geographic boundaries and what have you, but like the ability to congregate in person is essential in my eyes. I mean, it doesn't have to happen now. It doesn't have to happen next year, but like there should be a FOMO meetup. There should be a Dell meetup. There should like that, like the NFT NYC was a terrible conference, but the conference served the purpose of bringing so many like-minded people to New York City. And then the parties and the shows that came with the conference were amazing.
That's awesome.
Right. I mean, there's no way you can run a good conference with 5 to 15 minute increments for people to speak. I don't know what they were going for with 1,500 speakers, but wow. I've had my beef in their submission of feedback form, and it was so skewed too. It was what do you think was the greatest? I'm like, nothing.
They should just get Gary Vee in a football stadium, and everybody should just go to that one little stadium, and then all the like top 5 artists that are coming on for that year. Just come on up there, have a like little 30-minute, 45-minute deal. Dude. Have like a 4-hour thing, and then boom.
I couldn't agree more.
the
There should
parties.
be a, maybe 30 speakers over 3 days.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah.
over 3 days
Like
in
day one, day
30
two,
minute
day
to
three.
an hour increments over really insightful shit.
Well, let's do it, man. Let's start it.
I'm down, dude. Let's.
I know a guy that gets in with the stadiums and books like a whole bunch of famous bands, like death metal shows and country shows. Maybe we can tell him he needs to get into the NFT NYC.
Hey, we'll help him get
some of these stadiums, and you can pay an ETH or USD.
Dude, I'm down.
Dash only.
Dash only. No NFT. And we got to, if we're gonna do NFT ticketing, we got to do it right.
You get like a digital token when you come in.
Do you want me to tell you the sign-in process at NFT NYC? So you did it all online, and then you get there, and you had to go wait in another line to go get your badge with your name on it. It was a printed piece of paper. And the line was around a full city block in New York City.
And everybody there has DeFi wallets.
And everybody
there they can like scan QR codes.
Why is there not just a QR code in the app or on the website that I can just come in and be like, scan this or else you can't come inside? Okay.
did they think it was going to get compromised and like too many people were going to scan QR codes? And
I can't get over it. That's just one thing that I just like, I don't understand who thought that organization of that conference was the right thing to do. I definitely won't be buying. I'll be coming next year to New York.
We'll have to ask Gary V.
Yeah, Gary V knows, man.
I'm sure he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
I do.
All.
We should write him a letter too.
A handwritten letter.
Write him a letter, Gary V.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write the first half. And I'm going to send it to you in Colorado Springs, and you're going to write the second half, and then we're going to send it to Gary, and we're going to say, Gary.
Don't send it overnight either. Send it in regular mail. It'll get to me 5 to 6 days. Be perfect.
It may get to you. It may not.
I may get lost.
It may get lost. But if it was lost, it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Then it will never happen.
Well, listen, I want to round this thing out. We're hitting the top of the hour. I want to close it with my traditional closing question, which is, where do you see yourself and Web3 in the next 6 to 12 months? And where do you see yourself and Web3 in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, so the first one, 6 to 12 months. So let's go 12 months. Let's do 2023. 2023, we are still in the bear market. We are kind of coming out of it. Maybe some of the floors have risen up. For me, I've just been accumulating that whole time. So that's 2023. I'm just still in the accumulation period. Fast forward, what was it, 6 years, or did you say 10 years?
5 to 10 years, whatever is more palatable for you.
Okay, so let's do 6 years. So let's do 2028.
Okay.
So 2028, it's going to be the year of cryptocurrency and NFTs. Beeple's going to come out with a fall winter drop, and it's literally going to melt people's faces off. People are going to be like taking out loans, buying up like millions of dollars of worthless JPEGs. And I think we're just going to see like this enormous, crazy, like transitioning over from like regular currency over to digital currency. People aren't going to know what's going on. Again, they're going to be melting faces. People's heads are going to get cut off. There's going to be some wild cyberpunk stuff going on in 2028.
You heard it here, folks.
That's the next people drop.
The next people drop is going to be a live drop.
Yeah, that's like, have you seen Metalocalypse, Death Clock?
No.
So it's this animation of this death metal band, and there's like 5,000 people like all in this one like square, and Death Clock is their name of the band, and they get dropped from a box out of this like U.S. airplane, and the box comes down and like kills like half of the audience. And then like it like opens up into a stage and like kills more people. And so like by the time everything gets set up, like everybody's like dead, and you know, so
playing.
So that's the next Beeple drop, 2028. That's what's gonna go down.
This is all satire, folks, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show. This meant a lot to me, and I really love what you're doing. Just keep on doing it. Hopefully I can come back on sometime.
Oh yeah, we'll bring you on, and hey, if you ever want me to come back, let me know.
Oh, I absolutely will. I don't know if I told you, like the whole point of the show is to have like repeat guests. So like this is like, hey, this is who Austin is. And then the next time we'll be talking like about Pak and like where things are in like 6 months, man. You can just be my resident Pak expert. Okay.
So 6 months, if you got me on here, we'll just still be accumulating. We'll get back to that one.
We'll still be like at Ash 2. Like, there's no way it can go below 0.1. No way.
Yeah, no. They're definitely worth more than $75.
I mean, dude, I've got a 1 of 25 Mad Dog for like 1 ETH or 2 ETH. Like, I mean, dude, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he's the least burned. I actually got to meet him at NFT NYC.
Oh no,
he was just like speaking in the theater with Victor Mascara and Roger Dickerman. It was sick.
Whoa, those are some OGs right there.
Yeah,
son.
Yeah. I like RD's show. If you've ever watched it, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, Origins.
Yeah. Origins. Is it Origin Stories or Origins?
Origin Stories.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it. Keep on fighting the good fight. Fomoverse Radio for life. Let's go. Thanks for joining Web3 with me. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review, as it'll help us reach more people. If you want to connect with me personally, you can find me on Twitter @offedge_. Thanks for vibing in the verse with me, and hope you'll join us next time.